On July 2022, me and my team flew all the way from Tokyo to play a summer tournament in Las Vegas. We won some games and we lost some, but we're still here. If we win that one, we're going to the finals. This is me, number 8, Jasmine. The game was very intense, and the other team played great defense. They didn't give us any space, and we had to fight for every single point. A lot of hustling, good decisions, and hard defense got us back on track. But I have to admit, it was a very frustrating game for me, as I never really got it going. I tried to stay focused and keep on fighting. At some points, we made great plays and took the lead. But the other team never gave up and came back into the game. This is the last play. We're up by 1. That's it. We made it to the finals after a hard fighting game. But to get there, it took me more than just one game. I'm Jasmine, and this is my journey. Growing up in an international family, my mom is half Japanese and half Filipino, and then my dad is Malaysian Chinese, so I'm a huge mix of a lot of cultures. So I was born in Hawaii, but throughout my lifetime, I've lived in Australia, in 3 different cities in Japan, and I've also lived in Singapore, so I've always been moving around. It's actually a really funny story, the way I first started basketball. I remember this is when I just moved to Nagasaki, Sasebo, when I started playing, and this was, I think, in 3rd grade. So we had to do this little introducing myself thing because I just transferred to that school, and everyone wanted to get to know who I was. I needed to get to know who everyone else was. Anyways, they asked my name, my birthday, and I think like my hobby or things I enjoyed doing. So for that, my hobby, I answered I enjoyed running, because that was something I always did since I was little.
Come on. She wanted to play soccer, but since she didn't know anybody on the soccer team, one of her classmates invited her to come play basketball since she told her that she loves to run. And so she went with her to the Taikukan, to the gym, and walks in there, and she didn't know how to dribble a ball. She didn't know how to shoot. Her first shot was like a granny shot in the air. So it was very cute.
So the first year I played, I was all the way down at the very end of the bench. I think, we had 13 players at the time. I was the very last player. In Japan, they had this numbering system where the captain would be number 4, and then co-captain number 5, and then the next best player, so on and so forth. I started, I think, at number 13. I hardly ever got minutes during games and stuff, but as I worked my way through, I did get better and better because I'm a very competitive person. So my motivation to get more minutes or to become better was to become better than the next person that's better than me. So I always saw it as like a little competition thing.
Go, 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 go.
Towards the end of 4th grade, I finally made my way to number 5, which is the co-captain position, which even though it's not as big as a leadership role as captain, that was still the first time I ever was titled something that big. And I knew I had to prove to the coaches that I deserved this and everything.
Through hard work and determination, she had to work her way up. So eventually, over a year and a half, she made it to number 4, which is captain. But I remember those uniforms, they were giant. They looked like dresses, past her knees, and her shirt was past her knees. So it was really cute watching them run up and down the court. And watching her grow into that uniform was really cool. When Jasmine was in 4th grade, going into 5th grade, I remember Yamamoto-san, her coach, had asked her if she wanted to be captain. And that was one of the hardest experiences for her, I think, in her basketball journey.
I basically was in charge of practices and everything until the coach showed up. It was definitely a difficult role to take in as a 4th/5th grader, because later on we had older kids join in, and then there was a lot of jealousy involved. So, and also being an international person in general, surrounded by all these Japanese people, I would always get bullied and everything, but that didn't stop me from playing basketball. I will admit that towards the middle of 5th grade, I did want to quit basketball. It got that bad. The bullying and everything got so bad to the point where I wanted to quit just because of the people.
It was hard. She would come home in tears wanting to quit because of the girls being against her. But over time, I think she did earn their respect. And things did get better, but it was hard. She wanted to quit so many times. And I was like, you made a commitment, you need to finish out your commitment. For me, it was very painful, because seeing her cry, I wanted to cry too, because, nobody wants their child to experience bullying.
My mom being my mom and the person she is, she had me push through it. And then now that made the person I am today, who has all the love for basketball in the world. So.
Reverse, reverse. Reverse, reverse, go.
Nice. Go in. Nice.